Hello and welcome everybody. This is Sergio. Welcome to the next lecture, which is automatic shortcuts and more. We'll be going over some of the great features and tools available within Google Analytics and Google AdWords that will allow you to save time as an AdWords account manager. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see on the screen, we're in a Google Analytics account view here. This is my common view that I use with internal IP addresses filtered like I talked to you about before. And we're on the audience overview default entry report here that you see when you open up Google Analytics. I wanted to showcase some of the tools that I use most commonly whenever I'm working on accounts. Starting off with these shortcuts and emails and add to dashboard buttons that a lot of people don't really use, surprisingly. So let's start off at the top here to the left where you can see these two main categories, actually three we're going to cover here, because they can be used and they can help you become more efficient, more effective, and I'll show you how. Basically, a dashboard is a reporting dashboard that shows you many different things that you can create. They have some templated dashboards available. We're going to click on Create New Dashboard here, and you can choose to make a blank canvas or work with a starter dashboard, which I don't really recommend. I think if you're going to make a custom dashboard, it's really best to make one from scratch that shows exactly what it is you want to track. So what we can do here is just put my first dashboard as an example and click on blank canvas. You can click the import from gallery button, which if we do that here, you'll see that there are tons of user-generated different templates that people create, and it's pretty neat. It uses a lot of intricate coding and filters using regex that allow you to do some pretty wondrous things, like strip out any visits that come to your site using a search keyword that's related to your brand name or website name automatically, and things like that that you wouldn't really be able to create unless you have some pretty good abilities or a ton of filters on top of filters. So I encourage you to kind of look through them here, sort by most popular if you want, or highest rating to kind of see the best ones. Click on them to kind of learn about them, and it'll tell you a description about it as well as some ratings here and great stuff. So take a look at those if you want to really get get accustomed to using your custom dashboards or imported from these galleries. There's a lot of great ones. But what I'm going to do is show you how to kind of create dashboards on your own that serve a good purpose. Maybe it's to track your e-commerce revenue data or the two most important marketing channels and how they're performing at a glimpse so that you don't have to open up many different reports. So why don't we start off with creating your first widget, which is essentially a reporting window on your reporting dashboard. We can call this one e-commerce revenue. I'm going to click on table since it's a standard reporting table that I want to create, not really a map or a timeline or anything like that or a pie graph. You can do real-time charts as well, but we're going to do standard charts for now since I don't really want to create a real-time report that only shows data pertaining to the visitors that are actively on your site. With the standard, it's going to show whatever the date range selection I choose is and the data that pertains to that date range. So I'm going to go ahead now and start to select my dimensions and my metrics, which are essentially going to act as the columns on my reporting table. Kind of search for the different, actually here, since it's a dimension, what we're going to want to do is select something like source and medium so that the table has something to use as the first column, and then show the metrics, which are things like revenue. Let's see here, this should be just a standard revenue. There we go, revenue. And what we can do here is e-commerce conversion rate, let's just say, is a secondary metric that we want to use. We'll put the table with 10 rows. You can choose 5 instead, all the way up to 10. And then, like I was saying before, we can put a filter that says only show or don't show, let's say, for example, a combination of source or medium. Then we can put here exactly matching, let's just put Google Organic, for example, instead of, so basically don't show Google Organic, but show everything else. So if we create that table and hit save, what we'll have here is a nice little report kind of showing the revenue according to the selected date range at the top here. So that's one widget. We can start to create many more widgets. And the great thing is it's going to be available now here by just clicking on the My First Dashboard link. So I can add another table here, and instead of putting source and medium, I could put landing page and then put the same thing, revenue, and then again put e-commerce conversion rate. If I want to maybe just look at the e-commerce conversion rate and revenue broken down by landing page. And then maybe I want to put a, let's just say a medium or source. Actually, we'll choose source. Maybe I can put a filter that says only show source containing Facebook for this one, or rather Google for this one. So now this is going to show me a little bit of a different, and I can kind of move it over here, drag and drop to the different areas where I can drag and drop it. You can also keep in mind, click on this customize dashboard. Right now it's using a 3-column layout. Essentially what that means is I can move it to 3 different columns within this dashboard. But see, as you can see, it's got a 30% column, a 40, and a 30. If I wanted to change it to, let's say, a 50-50 split layout option, now I have just half the screen used for each widget. And you can start to tinker around with the different types of widgets available, like, for example, the bar graph or the geo map. They're all pretty self-explanatory. I haven't used the pie graph yet myself, but I'm willing to bet it's a pretty straightforward setup here. We could choose the metric. I put e-commerce conversion rate. We can maybe put revenue instead to make it a little bit more of a simple example here, grouped by source, medium, and show up to you can show up to 6 slices within the pie, and then hit save. And then now we got a cool little visual representation of the revenue by source and medium, which is great for the selected date range. And those are kind of some of the things that you could start to do with your e-commerce or with your reporting widgets, which I think is great. Again, you could do one with country or region, which again is kind of similar to a state, according to Google here. We can put revenue here as well. Do is put United States. And this is going to kind of show the revenue according to each state. So if you hover over California, Texas, you can kind of see where all the revenue is coming from. So some pretty interesting stuff. Again, you can drag and drop your widgets so that they can stack up or be laid out wherever you want them to. So that's one thing. And again, they're going to show up here under your private dashboards. If you want to create a new one, simply create a new one. As we're going through our different reports, so as campaign managers, sometimes you might find some interesting data that you like. Say, for example, you choose keyword as the primary dimension here on an all traffic report, and you, let's say, add a secondary dimension of city, and you really like this report for some reason, whatever the report may be. A lot of the times just add to dashboard buttons here at the top. And what we can do is kind of put a filter as an example, so you could see that there are a lot of different options, but I'm just going to put anything that contains not set or not, I'm going to apply, because there's a lot of not provided and not set stuff here. So I'm going to hit that, and then boom, all of that stuff goes away, and we're left with real keywords. And maybe I even want to put another add dimension, exclude keyword containing www. So that all of these URL-based keyword searches, which are most likely just not real visitors, go away. So now I have a pretty customized report here, and if I want to add this to the dashboard, select which dashboard, My First Dashboard. You can choose to add a timeline and a table, or just one or the other, and then hit Add to Dashboard. Then boom, you have that report you just created. And it's a little bit of a segmented report. It's not really the full report, but At a glimpse, you can kind of see what's there. If you hit the pencil button to edit it, you'll see that there are some filters carried over, and then you can tinker with the different columns. Maybe you don't want sessions and percent of new sessions, but you want bounce rate instead. Well, you just change it to bounce rate really quick, and you're good to go. So that's kind of one way to work with the reporting dashboard, which hopefully you could see there's some value there. The next thing, it's very similar to, if we go back to that customized report I was just talking about, or any report that you're on that you, for example, enjoy viewing, but you don't want to recreate that customized report all the time, you can choose the shortcut button at the top here, which will simply create this report again. So give it a nice name like keyword plus city, since those are the dimensions we used, plus no www dot or not provided. We filtered out anything with www dot or not provided in it. So now you have a pretty recognizable reporting dashboard, or I'm sorry, shortcut here under shortcuts. So if you click on shortcuts, it'll be here. I have another custom report that I created a while back, but here is my keyword plus city plus no www dot or no not provided. So that's kind of another shortcut slash, efficiency tool within Google Analytics that you can use to your advantage to be more efficient, save time, which is, of course, money. And the next thing that I want to talk about is creating automatic emails, which you can do virtually from any report. There are a few limitations and exceptions, but most of the reports in here allow you to do shortcuts, dashboards, or email. If you see the email button like you see here, you would simply click that email button and include the recipients, test@gmail.com, followed by a comma, test2@gmail.com, basically indicating that you have 2 recipients here that it will send to. You can change the subject or keep it as is. Choose what kind of file, PDF or CSV or Excel SX rather. And the frequency, which you can do daily, once, or any of the other options here, and choose what day of the week you want it to send if you have selected one of those that apply to that day of the week option there. You can also put a little custom message here like, hey, here is the report you wanted, and it will send with the email. So that's another pretty useful tool if you want to send, let's say, a business partner, or if it's your client or anybody that wants to see certain data, maybe revenue data, number of phone calls or form submissions on a weekly or daily basis broken down by source or medium, or let's say product category or service type, which may be or may not be campaigns or ad groups. So you decide, tinker with them. I encourage it. They're very useful. I use them all the time. It helps me save a lot of time and a lot of money. So that's the next thing that I wanted to cover. Let's see here. I'm going to hit cancel and talk about custom alerts, which I think are really great. I'm going to go ahead and log into an account here, a different one, where I don't have any custom alerts. I'm going to click on admin. I'm going to go to custom alerts on the view column all the way down here at the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and create one from scratch to show you how easy it is. I'm going to go ahead and put here alert name, lead generated. So essentially what I want to do is get automatically alert either with an email or a text message whenever a form submission is generated on the website. I'm going to go ahead and skip down here because I'm going to apply it to the current website view that I'm on now, which is called all website data. You can apply it to other accounts and views within the other accounts by selecting from the drop down here. If you have multiple Google Analytics accounts, choose the period, which is going to be daily, and send me an email basically means you're going to send an email when the alert triggers, or send a text message, or you can choose to do both. So if you don't have a phone number already set up here, you'll have to set it up, which is pretty easy. Just follow the steps that are given. I already have, so my phone number is there. And the conditions are what's going to help you set up your alert and what the alert's triggered by. So this is going to apply for me for all traffic, or maybe you want to do, only say source traffic that matches exactly Google traffic, right? Or you can do source medium if you want to do only Google pay-per-click traffic or something of that nature. So use your filters here if you want to segment your traffic, or just hit all traffic if you don't. So what I'll do now is choose the metric, which is not sessions. It's going to be goal completions. What I'm going to do is search for it by typing up. So goal 1 conversion rate. So it looks like conversion value and conversion rate are available. You can work with those. Essentially what you'll need to do is set up a goal conversion rate that is greater than 0%. So anytime your goal conversion rate is up by, whether it be 1, 10%, or 50%, it will send you an automatic message or alert. You can also start to toy around with other types of triggers here. For example, when someone views a certain thank you page, like a transaction completed page, content, unique searches. Oh, here we go. Unique purchases. So you can kind of tinker with that, set it up so that whenever a purchase is made, as long as you have your transaction tracking set up, which we talked about in the previous lectures, you'll have to indicate which page or URL is displayed to a user when a transaction is complete as the destination URL for your goal to trigger, and then you'll be able to then put when the greater is value than 0, give me that custom alert, and then hit save alert, and you'll be done. So it's pretty straightforward, and these are kind of the 4 different things that I wanted to share with you within Google Analytics. Google AdWords has very similar features with the emails. They don't have the reporting dashboards, and well, they actually do, but I think Google Analytics provides you with a lot more data, simply because you can actually see behavior performance, like bounce rate and things like that, time on site, pages per visit, and do a lot more. Whereas in Google Analytics, the dashboards aren't as, in my opinion, robust. But if you wanted to, say, put together a keyword report on a daily basis of all of your accounts, maybe only the enabled keywords by toggling here to show only all enabled, what you can just do is click on the download report button here and choose to email and schedule the report here. So you can choose to send it to only yourself or specific email addresses, and then hit download here. And that'll basically create this report in Excel and send it to you via email. So that is one thing you can do here. Let me see here. When you do hit download, oh, it's because I put no one as a recipient. So if we change that to only me, you choose the frequency: daily, first of the month, weekly, or what have you. And that is how you set up your automatic emails within Google AdWords. Within the home section, I believe you're able to use this reporting dashboard, but I don't believe it's really customizable in the way that actually it is. You can customize these columns here, similar to how you do with the Google Analytics dashboard. And I don't see any option. Oh, yep, customize modules. So yeah, you do actually have the ability to work with somewhat of a, I would call a reporting dashboard in Google AdWords, but all of that data is technically also available inside of Google Analytics. So, whichever one you're more comfortable with, just rely on these reporting tools for efficiency to become an all-around, more efficient, more effective AdWords account manager. I hope you guys have enjoyed this lecture. Until next time.